Well, welcome to the show. It's exciting this morning because it looks a little bit different. You're not going to see Joel or Jono with their conspiracy theories and their wild thoughts, but we are joined by someone who I believe is fighting the real fight for us as people in this country. He is One Nation Senator Malcolm Roberts. Malcolm, firstly, thank you for being here. I have a whole heap of topics I want to go through.
Go for it.
All the way from the under 16 social media ban bill that's gone through, touch on climate change, also the upcoming election, we're going to discuss that. But I would love to open just with a general question because I don't get to hear you talk about this much, but there comes a time in every man's life, I guess, where they decide, well, if not me, then who? And they stop their career or they change what they've been doing and they decide, I see that we need to do change and I want to be a part of it. What was it? Was there a specific moment that made you leave the engineering and the mining background and jump into politics and say, I actually want to be the voice for this nation to see it go back to what it could be?
It wasn't a specific time, Brody, and thank you for having me as your guest. It was a stumbling of coincidences. When I graduated with an engineering degree, it was an honours engineering degree, and it was mining engineering. And we have to keep people alive underground, which means ventilation, which means understanding atmospheric gases. And so that's carbon dioxide, which is 0.04%. It's called a trace gas because there's bugger all of it.
Right.
And this was going to destroy the planet.
Yeah.
So I didn't go into engineering. I did the engineering degree, but then I worked as a coalface miner underground around the country, different mines, because practical experience is really important. And people experience, as you know from managing people, very, very important. So so I had that responsibility. And then I went went overseas, worked as an engineer briefly, and then came back and got into management and worked my way through very quickly in the management ranks. So I knew that what they were saying about carbon dioxide is bullshit.
Yeah.
And I went to New Zealand over the years. I worked in different mining companies. Then I worked on my own with my wife as a consultant to help people improve their businesses, all kinds of sectors, not just mining. I worked in New Zealand. And I went over to New Zealand. We turned around a very difficult mine. And then I came back after that, after 12 months in the Kiwi land. And all this climate stuff was going on. And I thought, what's all this crap about? And then they were telling me what carbon dioxide does. And it's the complete opposite. It's just complete rubbish. So I realised what was going on. I was invited to help someone else, Viv Forbes, rebut it politically.
Yeah.
He had political experience. It was all new to me. And I started getting involved. And before I open my mouth, I get my facts.
Yeah.
So I did my research and it was complete crap. Then I started doing my research as to who was driving it. That was the United Nations. Complete bullshit again.
Mm-hmm.
And it was about putting in place an unelected socialist global governance. And that's their words, not mine. That's
right.
their words. And then I started working out the drivers, what's motivating people, and it's money and control. Two things: wealth transfer from your pocket, viewer's pocket, to globalist pocket, and wealth transfer and control of people, which is the same old thing that's plagued humanity forever. So I started going around the country speaking about the carbon dioxide tax, and wherever I went, people, as soon as I finished speaking, people would walk up to me and they had Eastern European accents and they said, we know what's going on. We've seen it all before because they've come from Eastern Europe, communist countries. They picked it. That's what it was about. And then Pauline Hanson had a forum in Gatton one day and Ian Plimer was going to speak, the very good scientist. Anyway, Ian's mother got sick and he couldn't speak. So Pauline asked him for a replacement. So he nominated me, and Pauline saw what I did, and she liked it, and then she approached me about standing in the Senate because she said she wants someone who can speak strongly on the floor of the Senate beside her. And Malcolm Turnbull made the mistake of calling it a double dissolution, and I fluked it. I got in just on the skin of my teeth, and the last one elected out of 12 in Queensland. And then I got knocked out with dual citizenship, even though I was the only one who was not a dual citizen.
Yeah.
But then just in 14 months, I did enough that the people elected me on my own right the following election, which was 2019, and that's where I've been.
Amazing.
Yeah.
We've gone straight to climate change stuff already, really. We've skipped some of it, but that's all right. I want to stay there for a little bit. Look, I mean, especially for our viewers and people in my age group, there's I guess what gets weaponized is empathy, right? People, the idea that we want to protect the environment, that premise or that headline is not a bad thing. And we're going to go back to also
I agree
right.
with it.
That's right. The idea of protecting the environment, but when it's weaponized to talk about climate change, and they think that's the same thing. What's your position on what's some of the most corrupt parts that we're seeing come down into Australia now that we've seen elsewhere? What's some of the more corrupted parts of climate change being outplayed in our country?
Wow, how long we got?
You got as long as you like, Senator.
I spent about the first 12 months learning and then writing about it. And one day I just sat down. I don't know why, Brody, but I just sat down and said, why am I doing this? And I realized, number one, it was about freedom.
Yeah.
Because I could see that, even just going into the science, I could see it was about control of people. Number two was about restoring science. Science gives us freedom, and I'm happy to talk about that later. People don't understand that, but science, we can talk about it in more detail. Protecting and restoring science, because science is being used in COVID and just about everything, and it's not being used, it's being corrupted.
Yeah.
It's being used as a smokescreen for what they want to push, which is a political agenda. I was also very concerned about the environment, because when you focus on climate change, you're taking the focus of money, resources, time and energy away from real and serious environmental issues. And when you push some of the climate policies, you're destroying the environment. And now they're starting to come home. The fourth one was economics.
Yep.
Because this is destroying the economy. No mistake about it at all. So, and the fifth one was, I could see that if people believe that we can control the climate on the planet, then they're seriously screwed up in the head.
Yeah.
I wanted to restore the connection with nature and the awe that people should have for nature. And it's natural with us, but we've been fed all this propaganda and it's been taken away from us. So I really believe very strongly in the spiritual connection there with nature, but also the awe, the wonder of nature. And it's amazing when you look at the microscopic level, you look at the interstellar level. What nature's done is just, what nature is just stunning. And we're just a part of that nature. So I just wanted to restore the truth, basically.
Yeah, which is great. And again, I think so many people are misled by what they think by being an activist, or you see, especially young people who they want to find a cause to jump on. And I just guess climate change and people who love the environment. I know people in my family, not my direct family, but people in extended family who, they're surfers, they love the ocean, but then they align because of that, and they believe in protecting the environment, which I do too.
So do I.
Right, and so do you, which is great. I'm glad we got to talk about that, because you would know more than anyone, being a One Nation senator, you guys are always painted with a brush that you're the bad guy, or the racist, right? It's just the almost the gaslighting is extreme on anyone who's not the major two, right? So I'm glad you got a chance to say how you feel about the environment.
Well, just to jump in there, labels like racist, Nazi, anti-immigrant, whatever. Labels are the refuge of the ignorant, the incompetent, the dishonest, the deceitful, and the fearful. When they run out of argument, they give you a label. Pauline has been given that label because they couldn't counter her arguments. She's a very down-to-earth person, highly, highly intelligent. And that what they used to do was call her a racist, because what she was doing was promoting one nation, which is one nation, one united nation.
Yeah.
Not United Nations, but one united nation. Doesn't matter what your skin color is, how tall you are, what your background is, where you came from. One nation. If you're here, you're Australian, and that's what we want. And she could see that the country was being smashed. Way back in 1996, she also understood the international agenda which was driving it. So when people use a label on me, I say, well, that's okay, Brody. You've just shown that you haven't got the data and the logic to put together a good argument against me, so therefore I win. And they can't come back. But that's what they always go to, a label. Yeah. Or they go to fear. Yeah. Or unfounded fear, or they go to, wouldn't the world be better if we did this? And you're right. The adolescent male in particular, but adolescents generally, are very, very empathetic, very, very, no, that's not the word, very altruistic. They want to save the planet. Yeah. The adolescent male is a wonderful, energetic, age, and they can do so much, but they've been led astray because they're easy to pull astray because they haven't got the experience to see the bullshit that they're being fed.
For those of you who have joined us for the first time, go ahead and subscribe. I'll also put all of Senator Malcolm Roberts' details in the bio so you can go and watch the amazing work he does through his socials. And I hope you've enjoyed this interview. It's been a pleasure to me. Again, thank you, Senator, for being with us. And we'll see you again next Wednesday for next week's show.